Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I am here to give you your second virtual lesson on guitar. Um, Knowing y'all are my advanced students, I'm hopeful and confident that you are making plenty of progress on your own. I am not introducing a new song this week, but I wanted to review just some method and techniques about playing in particular. Maybe a little bit of review about Big Sandy River because if anybody had any trouble with some of the particular licks in there or just the little string of notes that are kind of quick, trying to see how everybody's doing with that and just venturing to see if I could be helpful this way. I do plan on introducing a new tune soon, possibly next week, so that you got something new to work on. But I know some of you are catching up and kind of reviewing some of the stuff that I've already done. We've worked on quite a several tunes, and so hopefully you've had plenty of time to do that. And anyway, I also thought about how we were going to do some of the bass runs between chords. So I thought that I could work on that and show y'all some of the stuff that I do when I'm playing bass runs. Since you're advanced students, you can kind of understand there's a certain string of bass runs that I kind of go to for each chord. So I might review or play through a couple triads of chords that have these bass runs in between them, so that you could learn to improvise upon that idea and do it yourself. So that's what I'm thinking this week. So without further ado, remember we worked on I think y'all should be getting better at your back and forth picking, because you have learned at this point that that is where the speed of playing a guitar melody or a melody on any instrument that's with a pick especially is what the method you have to use, because there's just no way to gain speed picking in the same direction. I think y'all are getting pretty good at that, and especially when you got something like this. It's kind of like a fiddle kickoff. You know how the fiddle's like dun 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 dun. You're kind of emulating that with a pick. A lot of times with the guitar, since it's such a rhythm-oriented instrument, you are emulating. Perhaps if you're playing a fiddle tune, of course, you're trying to make a guitar sound like a fiddle. So that is kind of what's going on here. The more difficult one is, I don't know how many of y'all have tried the variation or even had the opportunity to play it with other people. Pretty difficult to go 3rd fret, 5, 6, 7, using your middle ring and pinky from there. But that might be something that's worth pursuing, because learning to use all your fingers, don't forget about it's worth practicing that, because the pinky gets neglected, and it just makes it stronger and makes it more useful in your playing. Let's see. Other aspects of Big Sandy River in particular. This whole run of notes that's kind of all together. I'm usually doing the G chord with the pinky G. Then I slide up to this other position. If I was in the regular standard G shape, I wouldn't find that to be as easy. I mean, it works, but so often I find myself using this G because it just makes everything so much easier. It's just like every other method that I'm teaching you about playing notes. You know, your fingers are here. You know how each finger is in charge of a fret, and it only makes sense that your first finger is first fret. And then playing a G with your pinky automatically puts you in that position. So, me, over the years, I've just, especially playing bluegrass, I just almost always have started playing G like this, because especially this segues right into the whole G run, or the whole bass run thing. That's one of the main bass things you need to know. The C run is exactly the same. You just, instead of starting on the 6th string in this pinky G, you start on the 5th string. This is a good one, the D run. It's open 6th string, 2, 3, and then it's 5th string. Open 2, open, then open D string. I always think of like "Don't Be Cruel" by Elvis. That's about as low of a run you can start on a standard guitar, being, in standard tuning, you can do. And then, so say I was doing a tune in G, and I do this a lot with my rhythm playing. I do a hammer on with my middle finger on the 5th string. Kind of loop that. C would be the same way. And that's open 1, 2, 3. 1st string for G. Open 1, 2, 3 on the 5th string for C. When you get to D, you got to go 2, 3, 4 on the 5th string. And then the D, and then that will lead back to G. And the higher bass run for the G chord. And it's also completely acceptable to leave the first note walk up, just go open 2, 3, D walk up, and then I'll often walk back down. Mix up your hammer-on and your alternating bass. It's kind of a Skillet Lickers walk down. Quick walk backwards. And then this is the Cat Came Back Skillet Licker song. Play around with walking back and forth, remembering your back and forth picking, walking between the chords. Everybody always gets so hung up in playing melodies, but you know, playing rhythm guitar, you're kind of like playing lead and rhythm at the same time. And it makes playing rhythm for people so much more interesting because, you know, playing old time music to me gets kind of boring as a guitar player because, you know, you're just playing chords. But, you know, I learned from my uncle that, like, there's this whole world of bass note player, because you're a bass player and a guitar player at the same time. Often old time bands would not have a bass player, and it just makes everything so much more interesting for any kind of style of music you're playing. Well, I mean, especially country, old time, bluegrass. It's an essential part of playing. It all kind of is rooted major scales. Also remember to figure things out in other chords. Thank y'all, and have a good night. I'll see you next week.